What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. Okay, it is the 28th day of June. Here we are sitting at $60,125 with roughly 11 hours and 17 minutes left in the day. Yeah, let's get into it. We haven't really moved much over the past couple of days, have we? And that's more or less to be expected. It is the weekend. The weekends are typically boring, and we're seeing that boringness come to life right now. Yesterday we did pump a little bit. The call for the past couple of days has been to move up, and really we've been talking about the inevitable move that will take us up to 70K and beyond, while accepting that we could still see lower lows beforehand, right? We're very near the low, if not at the low. It's too early, I think, to call this the low, though I am anticipating that it is. We'll look at the short-term stuff and see if we have any reasons to believe that we're going to go lower in the meantime, or higher. And let's get into it, okay? Overall, overall, I'm expecting that we're going to be in a consolidation range where we really don't do much. Every pump gets dumped into, every dump gets pumped into between now and the end of July, if not sometime in August. Could be a later date, but I don't think this consolidation phase lasts a long time. Call it a hunch. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame here. Moving down, moving down. Nobody thought that you'd go below the low, and then boom, you just shafted it right there. Very aggressive movements down, a lot of volume. As we're moving up, we're getting a little bit of volume coming in as well, and then Saturday comes along, and we've just seen no volume because it is the weekend. Very boring weekend-like price action. We did break out of this kind of higher low trend here. We broke out of it to the downside, but this doesn't intimidate me. It doesn't make me think that we're going to go lower. What would make me think that we're going to go lower? Should I measure from here? I think I'm going to measure from here, not the fake out low. What would make me think we're going to go lower is if we started closing below 59.6K on a regular hourly basis. If we do that, then yeah, we probably do go lower. But until that happens, and whenever I say lower, I would at least think 59K, 58K, but potentially 57K to 56K is on the table as well. Let's see here. The RSI, it's not looking the best, right? It's definitely bearish overall, but you are hanging out in this kind of neutral area right now after being bearish for so long. You went from getting oversold, oversold, oversold to not getting oversold. You started forming some bullish stuff here. Now you're finding a low here at the 40 level. That's not bad. Let's just see if you can answer to the bullish effect. Let's see if you can get overbought. If you can't get overbought here, and instead we start to form lower lows, that could be bearish. Stochastics look funky, but so does the price action. MACD technically right here would be bullish. That's actually bullish right there. Is that bullish divergence? Yes, there's a little bit of bullish divergence. And your oscillators, the orange and the blue line, they are right here at the 0 level, looking to find support and move up after you crossed above. Now, I am a bit disappointed with this movement. We crossed through the 0 here, and we really didn't see much of a move. Whenever you don't see much of a move, you cross through the 0 and you don't get a bullish answer, that typically promotes a bearish result. We got a little bit of a bearish result, just like we got a little bit of a bullish move. So again, it's the weekend neutral stuff. Doesn't seem to be swinging too much one way or the other. But if we can hold support here and bounce off of this level, that could indeed produce a bullish result. And we might actually see the pace pick up, something in the likes of this here, where we went from 59K to 62K in a very short amount of time. We might see something like that happen, exactly like that. But starting here, perhaps going to a higher price. I could see us going to something in this area here around 62.5K, a little bit less, a little bit more, something in that kind of range there. I could really see that happening, as long as we don't go too much lower. 4 hour time frame. We did reject the 50 on the RSI. However, we've maintained this higher low position in the RSI as well. It would be nice if we could still maintain that, it would be nice if in the next 3 hours and 12 minutes this 4-hour candle could close green. Stochastics still look bullish, and the MACD, it's not bullish overall, but you are pointed upwards. I mean, it is what it is. You've kind of got this lower high trend here that you've broken out of. Whenever the oscillators break their trend lines, not always, but a good bit of the time, that is actually a bullish signal, or a bearish one if you're breaking below. And this, at the very least, could signal that the price continues to move up a little bit until we reach this zero level, and then we find some resistance, and then maybe we cross through that, or maybe we send it down to our next low. Maybe we just break through it on the first attempt. Whatever the case may be, this can continue to grow. Therefore, I think that we will continue to grow, but it doesn't have to. Daily RSI, this is also making me bullish here, bouncing off the oversold zone, where I think a lot of people are bearish right now. I think a lot of people are freaking out. They're bearish. The reason why is because the narrative has been completely tarnished, right? The narrative for Bitcoin was, here, let me show you. Let's remember what it was, right? Here. What is going on? Why is it taking so long? This is the narrative. The bear market's over. We were never in a bear market, guys. This is a super cycle. The bear market's over, the low is in, we're going to go to 100K. That's what the narrative was at the top. That's what everybody was believing, right? We're never going below this low again. Then the narrative was, oh, double bottom. We've got a double bottom. That's it. That's the bear market low for sure. Look, we've dropped. That's it. Everybody's so ready. And both times, I mean, all times, the majority of people who are talking at the top of their lungs are saying that the bull market is on, that the bear market is over, that the low is in. When the bear market low is in, the majority of people think that, oh, we're going to go lower. You're going to hear what you're going to hear at the bear market low, or not even at the bear market low. What you're going to hear whenever we have the bear market low, and then we're up like this, whenever we see our recovery, what you're going to hear at the top of this recovery, or at the bottom of it, whatever, what you're going to hear so much is the bear market is not over. The low is not in. We have just a little bit lower to go, and then it'll be over. Whenever you hear everybody saying that, the same way that up here you heard everybody saying that the low is in, and don't be mistaken, I think we have a little bit lower to go. It's the same words, but completely different context. I think we have a little bit lower to go, but it's different. It's different. I was saying that here when most people were saying that we were in a bull market that the low is in, right? Most people right now are not thinking that we have a little bit lower to go. They're thinking that we're going to drop down to 40K, 30K, or we're about to bounce from here. It's a double bottom, whatever. People are still very polarized. Whenever the majority of people are telling everybody, when the consensus of thought is after we have a low, after we have a somewhat significant lower low from here, and we're in this recovery mode, we're in this consolidation phase, the consensus of thought is going to be the bull market is not on, the bear market is not over, we still have one more drop to go, and then it will be. Whenever you hear something like that as like the general consensus, that's when the low is in. At least that's how it was during the last 3 bear cycles that I've been in. Let's see, 2015, 2018, 2019, 2022. Yeah, this would be the 4th. Yeah. I like this. I like this RSI. That doesn't mean the bull market's on. That doesn't mean the low is in. No, I think that it's nice enough where we could be going to 70K, 75K. If not, certainly at least higher than we are now from here. We're going to get into some other metrics in just a second. The MACD crossed red yesterday, or for the last 2 days. It's crossed red. And now, if today closes here, it doesn't have to close much to the green effect. We're not even up 0.5%. You close here or higher, you're looking to provide this as a false cross. This is a very bullish signal on the MACD. If we can cross this back green, it's a very bullish signal on the MACD. And at a point where it's low, at a point where the fear and greed index is at extreme fear, at a point where a lot of people are polarized and maybe uncertain, even the bulls aren't confident enough to go long here. All the people who want to short, they're panic shorting at the lows, man. I mean, we've got immense shorting pressure, and this is what I wanted to get into. Over the past day, it's the weekend. There's not a whole lot of shorting volume. There's not a whole lot of longing volume, but the shorts are dominant compared to longs. Over the past week, shorts are dominant compared to longs. It's about a 2-to-1 ratio there. There's still a lot of longs. Absolutely, there are. And then over the last 90 days, let's do the last 30 days, last month, the shorts outweigh the longs again, about 2-to-1. It is actually interesting how many shorts have piled out, have taken off their positions. There's a lot of short volume that has come off the table while not actually going long. Again, I think a lot of people, it's not that there's no longs, there definitely are, but I think a lot of people are afraid to go long down here, and that's what makes me think that we're going to move up higher. Beyond a bunch of other things, man. Beyond the fact that the RSI got super oversold and now we're bouncing off the oversold zone, we're looking to provide a false cross on the MACD, and the stochastics also bouncing off the oversold zone. Let's go back to the last time we saw this. This is a nice little trick, okay? It's a nice little trick. We're going to put this in your back pocket. The stochastics are not always the most helpful, but they have their moments. They're a good momentum indicator. When you're seeing something like this, you know that there's more to drop. Whenever you start to get oversold, typically, you know that there's more to go to the downside, okay? Depending on the scenario. Here, whenever you go from getting oversold like this so consistently, and then you come back down and you bounce right off the oversold zone, like we're doing now. We still could go lower, but man, I think if we were going to, we would have done it already over the past few days. When you bounce like this, when you see this, right, specifically in this same context where you're oversold for a while, and you bounce right off it. The blue line went a little bit below. So what? You bounced right off it, man. You bounced right off it. Whenever you see that, let's just see what this scenario promoted. You wouldn't have known that you bounced until one day later, right there, right? Did you move to the heavens? Or did you skyrocket all the way up to 100K? No. But you were at a relative low point. And from there, you saw over the next week and a half an 18% move for Bitcoin, which who knows what that meant for the rest of crypto. You saw over the next month, not even a month, a 21% move for Bitcoin. Does that mean that we just move in a straight line up from here? No. It might be volatile. And it probably will be because we're in a consolidation phase. Every pump will get dumped into. Right? People are very polarized here, just as polarized as they were here, just as polarized as they were here. Whenever you're polarized, you see some volatility. You get some wicked moves. But I do think that we're going to move higher. And I don't think that we're going to stop at a lower high here. I would assume that from here, before going below these lows, or at least dramatically below these lows, maybe we get a slightly lower low. Who knows? I'm not calling for that. But before we really break out of this range, I do believe that we're going to see a higher high. And that probably starts from here. However, it looks like this, like this, like this. However it looks, I'm assuming that we are on a path that will take us above 70K. We've gotten above the 236. We haven't found resistance here. I mean, we're stymied here a little bit, but we haven't found too much resistance. We're probably going to go to the 382, which would take us to 61.5K, probably a little bit above there or around there. The golden ratio is at 63.5K to 64.2K. And then from there, we get above the golden ratio. There's really not much stopping us in the way of getting to 70K and 73.7K. I don't expect that it'll be a straight line like this. I do expect that we will probably see some stair stepping along the way, and then some excitement once we get above 66K here. It doesn't have to happen like this. This is what I'm expecting, more or less. And that, that could take us into the end of July, sometime in August. It could take us, this much time. Maybe it happens a little faster, maybe it happens a little slower, but somewhere in this kind of time frame, then we'll start to break out and move down, and that'll be our bear market finale. That's my expectation. You know, maybe it does go later than August. I've had it for such a long time, guys. Let's see. I've had it for such a long time, pinned here that the end of the bear market will be in August. I don't know. As we get closer, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if it will be. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it is September, October. You know, October, November would make the most sense based around the 4-year cycle. It is funny how many people believe the 4-year cycle is dead whenever it was spot on to a T. You know, I thought the 4-year cycle was dead whenever I was coping as a bull. Then whenever we accepted that the bear market's in, I mean, it's quite obvious the 4-year cycle's still in. Right? All the people that were saying that the 4-year cycle's dead, they were saying that to validate their bias that the low is in. That's not, and they didn't give you anything else. They would just say the 4-year cycle's dead. That's it. Okay, why? Why do you say that? Because right now it's actually working very well. And it probably will continue to work well. Even if we bottom in August, the 4-year cycle's not dead. Even if we bottom in January, the 4-year cycle's not dead. But somewhere between here and there, we're probably going to find our low for the bear market. It's coming. We're almost there. It's exciting. That's great. Stack your cash. Get ready. Because what's not going to happen is this. We're down, and then it's bull market time. That's not what's going to happen. It's going to be this long period of consolidation, of accumulation, of distribution, shaking out the weak hands, letting the strong hands get in. Okay. Anyways, I'm talking so much. I'm going to end the video there. Let's go for one more example on this stochastics just to show you how nice of a signal that is. Yeah, you're oversold for a bit. You don't really have a bounce off of it, though. And again, it's different than bouncing off it here, right? Because here you were overbought. I'm talking about specifically oversold conditions where then you find support directly off that oversold zone. Something like that. That looks good. That's good enough. Yeah, let's do that. Right here, right? Look at the move you saw. You went from 89.8K all the way up to 109K. That was a nice, and in about a week, you saw how much percentage-wise is that? Like 20%? Yeah, you saw a 22.8% move. That's awesome. Getting oversold a lot, then you bounced here. What happened? Boom, you moved up. Did you go lower? Inevitably, yes, but you saw a very nice move before that happened. It's not a guarantee. Nothing's perfect, but there's a reason why I said put this in your back pocket for later. Okay, it's a good thing typically. Pair that with the RSI. Pair that with the potential false cross on the MACD. I mean, there's a lot. And the panic in the markets. I think it's obvious. We'll see what happens next. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.